Hi, my name is Frank White and welcome to another episode of Photography Tips and Reviews. In today's episode, I am going to talk about the differences between the EOS 6D and its big brother, the EOS 5D Mark III. Now, you might ask yourself, why would I pay $1,000 more for the 5D Mark III when I can get the little brother, the 6D, which is substantially the same camera, a lot cheaper? So I'm going to explore that question, and hopefully I'll give you enough information that you can draw your own conclusions. I want to start by saying that both models, the 5D Mark III and the 6D, both have full frame sensors, which means that they basically are able to capture the same amount of megapixels. Now, with that said, the 5D Mark III has a 22.3 megapixel sensor in it, and the 6D has a 20.2 megapixel sensor in it. So the sensors are substantially the same. Incidentally, the 6D has its own sensor because it's able to gather a little bit more light for the focusing system. However, the 5D Mark III has a much more advanced autofocusing system. So to keep going, the 6D only has 11 autofocus points, and only one autofocus point is a cross type, and that would be the center autofocus point. Whereas the 5D Mark III has 61 autofocus points, and 41 of those autofocus points are cross type. So you ask, what is a cross type autofocus point? Well, a cross type autofocus point take two images, divide the image into halves. So and I got my hands like this, and I'm going to illustrate in a minute. If it's a horizontal autofocus point, which are the non-cross type autofocus points, then what it does is it look for vertical stuff, and it brings them together until it focuses, until it lines them up, and then the camera knows that it's in sharp focus, and then it does the same. The cross type is able to do the same on the horizontal plane too. Another difference between the two bodies is that the 5D Mark III has two card slots. One is a SD card slot, and the other one is a CF card slot. Whereas the Canon 6D only has one SD card slot. And that's important because if you are in a situation where you are running through eons or gobs and gobs of images, then you may need to switch to that second card slot. Or more importantly, a lot of people use that second card slot to make a mirror image of the first card slot. So if something happened to my CF card, then I can use the SD card as a backup and vice versa. So for a lot of shooters, then that's really insurance. Both of these bodies support the Digi5 processor, so there's nothing different there. The EOS 6D has both GPS capability and it has built-in Wi-Fi. So if you're shooting landscapes, then it's nice to be able to geotag your locations so that you can easily see them on the map. That way you'll know exactly where that picture was made, and you can always go back to that exact spot. it's just a great feature to have for landscape use. And I could see that being a great feature for street photography, and you know, there are probably other genres of photography where being able to geotag your images makes sense. Also, now I have personally found that the Wi-Fi gives me the ability to tether my camera to my cell phone, and this has really become handy when it's nighttime and I'm shooting the sunset and it's getting dark. So I could tether to that cell phone and use, get this, live view on my cell phone. So I'm able to hold my cell phone, walk around, change my exposure to where I need it to be and make the picture. And that is awesome, especially at night when I don't want to actually touch the camera because I don't want to introduce any camera shake. So the 6D does have some advantages over the 5D Mark III. But the 5D Mark III does have a 100% viewfinder, whereas the EOS 6D only has a 97% viewfinder. Perhaps the most important reason for choosing a 6D would be the price. Okay, so right now, you could probably, if you look hard enough, find the 6D body for around $1,000, whereas a 5D Mark III body used would cost you around $2,000. Even though the 6D was originally $2,000, you can still buy the body new for around $1,500. And this $3,600 body, when it was introduced, has come down to about $2,500 new. So these bodies are aging, which means that it's time for Canon to start releasing the successor to both bodies. In fact, there are already rumors that the 5D Mark IV should be out probably sometime in the third or fourth quarter 2016, and the 6D Mark II should be out probably the fourth quarter or the fourth quarter 2016 or the first quarter 2017. But that remains to be seen. Personally, I think even if you were to snatch these bodies up now, whether you buy them new or used, you would be happy for many years to come. So the biggest question about these two camera systems is the image quality. So I'm gonna mount them both on a tripod, snap a couple images, put them up side by side, and let you decide if you can tell the difference between the two images in terms of image quality. Even though these bodies have been out a while, I thought I'd give you my take on the comparison between these two bodies. I really hope I've been able to give you some really good information. And if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I use that as a barometer to kind of help me determine how well I'm presenting you with this information. If you haven't already done so yet, please take a moment to subscribe. I'm building this community with people just like you, and your participation is what makes these reviews and comparisons and tips all worthwhile. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I read them all. Usually I'll respond to them. And if you're gonna shoot anybody today, shoot them with a Canon or a camera of your choice. And remember, keep shooting no matter what.